Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It is April 10th, 1983. It is a Sunday, and I just had a big audition, a big important audition for a big important out of town job that would take me out of New York City and pay me for over 2 months to act in more than one show. It would be challenging and rewarding experience, and I am trying not to focus all of my energy on hoping and dreaming that this particular dream comes true. I mean, the audition went really wet. The audition went pretty good. The audition went all right. Yeah, it did. We went along for a while, and then ingeniously, my darling, brilliant sister buzzed the intercom during my audition, right in the middle of the interview. Buzz, and we're all like, "Oy." And then, to my horror, it's my sister's voice coming out of the little crackly speaker saying, is my brother up there? I mean, is Rick Wetzel? I mean, is Harry Wetzel up there? Suzanne's like, he'll be down in a little while. So, it did put a weird vibe on the rest of the interview a little bit, but Suzanne was very peppy at the end. I said goodbye to Gary, and Suzanne's walking me out to the door, and she's all peppy, and she says, "I'll call you either way." And I'm like, okay. So I go down in the lobby. And my sister and my brother-in-law, they're just standing there with birds flying around their heads like they're out of a cartoon. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? You interrupted the interview right in the middle of the audition. Well, I said, this is New York. You don't interrupt a meeting like that. I told you to wait until I came down. Well, we thought you'd be done. I told you to wait for at least an hour. Is it even an hour yet? No, it's not. Now, if one of you was bleeding. All right. I'm obviously still a little bit irked about this. Anyhow, it's a beautiful day in New York City, and we go outside, and we're going to get some lunch now. Yes. It's a Sunday in New York, and we're going to walk down Broadway. And I got a plan. I say, all right, there is this fantastic Italian restaurant in my neighborhood back in Astoria, Queens. I want to go to dinner there. So for lunch, we'll just have something light. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to walk down Broadway to Gray's Papaya, and we'll have a couple of hot dogs. And they're like, Gray's Papaya. I go, yeah, they have fresh papaya juice, too, in addition to hot dogs. And they're like, oh, sure. So we're walking down there, and they're saying, so is it a really fancy hot dog place where they have all sorts of interesting ingredients on top? And I'm like, nope. They either have onions or sauerkraut, or you put your own ketchup or mustard on there. And that's it. Hot dogs and papaya juice. But it's fantastic. Yes. It saved my life many a night on the long walk home from the East Village up to the Upper West Side. You can stop at Gray's Papaya and get yourself a 75-cent hot dog. It's fantastic. Anyhow, we get our hot dogs. We cross the street over here to Sherman Square. And we have our hot dogs. And Sherman Square also nicknamed Needle Park for a while. Sherman Square Park was Needle Park back in the 70s because of all the hypodermic needles laying around. Yikes. Anyhow, so we finish our hot dogs, and we're just going to go back to Queens. We're going to get on the subway, which is right there. Gray's Papaya is at 73rd. The subway's right there. So we get on the subway, we go back to Queens. We go back to Astoria, Queens, and we walk up the street to 2547 Steinway, and we go upstairs and have a seat. We are all beat. We've been walking around all weekend, and then we've been, we just had a nice long walk. Well, sort of, you do a lot of walking in New York. I said, you guys, when you get in here, you better be prepared. We're going to be doing a lot of walking, and we did. So we're all just rather tired, but we're not too tired to sit around and listen to some records and drink some fine wine. Yes, that's one of the lovely things about being a drunk who works at an elite wine store. Yes, you can get inebriated on some erudite spirits. Yes, so we're drinking some Chateau Talbot. Yes, my favorite, and listening to records. It's fantastic. Until it's time to go to dinner. Now, eventually, after a few hours of sitting around, smoking dope and drinking fine wine, we're hungry again. So we go out, we go down, and we walk down Steinway Street, just a couple of blocks, to Sabina's, Lena's, Gelsomina's. You remember? I don't remember. But where I went with Kathy, yes, we had a fantastic dinner. Well, we went into Sabina's, Lena's, Gelsomina's, and we had another fantastic meal. We had the same waiter, Carl, very funny guy. Yes, and he made some recommendations. I had the stuffed shells this time. They were magnificent. And so we all had this really great meal here at Sabina's, Lena's, Gelsomina's, and it was. Susie said this was one of the best. This was, she said, the best meal I had all weekend. I'm like, I'm delighted that we capped off the weekend with this. It was really, really good. So we walked back up to the apartment, and we're all completely bushed, but we decide to have another glass of wine and listen to some music until it is time to retire. So we do. Now, it's the middle of the night. It's the middle of the night, and everyone at 2547 Steinway is asleep. Susie and Mark are in Rodent's room, sleeping on his bed, which is a mattress on the floor. And I'm in my little bedroom on my bed, which is a mattress on a box spring on the floor. Right. And Keith is asleep on the sofa. Wait a minute. Keith isn't here at all. Remember, he's not here at all. Where is Keith? I wonder. Again, there's no telling when you're going to see Keith or when he's going to show up. I wonder where he is. Well, you know where he is? He's walking back from the subway stop at around 3 or 3:30 in the morning. Yes. And he gets back to 2547 Steinway, and he's at the front door down on the street there, and he realizes he left his keys at home. They're up in the apartment, and he doesn't have them. So he steps back from the building. He's a very enterprising individual, and he looks at the building, and he's like, there in front of, beneath our building, there is a defunct embroidery shop, and in front of that is one of those expanding grates that makes diamond shapes, which is just perfect for climbing. And he's like, I could climb up this grate, open Rodent's window, and just step on in. Which is what he did. Into the room where Susie and Mark are sleeping, and suddenly there's a man climbing in the window in New York in the middle of the night, and Susie and Mark are bolt upright in bed. Susie is apoplectic. I'm sure she realizes that she's going to be dead in a matter of moments. Mark is a little bit more laid back, so as Keith steps in the room and slowly, quietly shuts the window, Mark's like, what's going on? And Keith's like, oh, hi, sorry to wake you. Hi, you remember me? It's Keith. I'm Harry's roommate. Hi, Sue. Hi, Mark. Sorry I woke you. And he walks out of the room and shuts the door. I don't know. That just rather amuses me. So anyhow, Keith goes into the living room because he's sleeping on the sofa, remember, right? And he goes to sleep on the sofa. Now it's the next morning. Yes. And Susie and Mark got to get going. They got to get on the road. They got a long drive back to Michigan. Yes, they do. You know what I have to do? I have to pretend that I'm not completely focused, completely obsessed with hoping that I get this job out of town. I've got to convince myself that it's just going to happen and don't obsess over it. Maybe it will happen. Maybe it will. I say, no, that's not good enough. The B part of maybe is good, but how about it shall be rather than it may be? And yes, and so I'm focusing on that as best as I can. So, what do? Yeah, you remember, you hope for the best, expect the worst, and go back to work. So I go back to work. Okay, great. It's a few days later. I still haven't heard either way from Suzanne. So I did say that the booze store is the booze store to the great and the near great, and you'll never guess who came into the booze store one day. You'll never guess. Go on, guess. I'm waiting. Sorry, just kidding. Anyhow, you'll never guess though who came into the booze store, and I'll tell you about it next time. I really look forward to seeing you again.